Welcome to House Rules, our family's board game channel. I'm Victoria.
And I'm Jeremy.
Today we're going to talk about our June on our table games. And there is some overlap on these between finishing up our A to Z challenge games.
Yeah, we're going to have to come up with like a good monthly name for this show or this episode.
What do we call this segment?
Right.
But for now, it's just on our table, and let's get to it.
All right, so the first game that got to our table in the month of June was The Crew, a trick-taking game, a cooperative trick-taking game. It's The Crew, Search for Planet X. Nope. Search for Planet... The Ninth Planet. Search for the Ninth Planet. Man, I'm terrible. And that game is by Cosmos Games. So not much to say than it's a really cool trick-taking game for the whole family. What's our next game?
We played Terraforming Mars by Stronghold Games. And that is an engine building game where each player takes on the role of a company and tries to terraform Mars by building the oxygen, oceans, and heat.
Yep. That's a really cool game. There's a little bit of deck building, or not deck building, drafting and engine building, a little bit of area control, tile placement. So Terraforming Mars, good one. The next games that we played was Ticket to Ride. And we played one out of each of we played Europe, because we have that one, and then we played a couple out of each of our expansion boxes. So we played the Europe one, we played France, we played Japan, and we played what's the one with the Pennsylvania. So each one plays very similar. In France, you're actually allowed to... It's a cool mechanic is you lay your own tiles, colored tracks that you want at a certain point during the game. The Japan one has the bullet train that everybody has to use, and you have significantly less trains to use throughout that game per player. And then the Pennsylvania one, I think you talked about this in the N to Z one that we did, video that we had. And it was, after you lay track, you get to pick up stocks that went with that particular route. And it's a new way of scoring points. So Ticket to Ride.
Yeah.
Played a lot of that.
The other one, the next one, the Tiny Epic series, and we played all of our Tiny Epic games. Those are by Gamelin Games. Real quick, the Tiny Epic: Dinosaurs, Mechs, Kingdoms,
Galaxies.
Dungeon.
I think that's it.
Yes, we don't have all of them.
Nope. Yeah. I think that was it. Tiny Epic Games, small box, lots of game in all of them. So pick those up for sure. The next game we played was a game that a friend brought over for a game day, and that was Hans Teutonica. I can't pronounce it really good.
Unsure on that.
And that's actually by Pegasus Spiel Games. It's kind of a nice Euro game where you're putting out tokens on a board, on a map, trying to complete routes. Then you pick up all your stuff and do a different route and take controls of different cities. So it had a very interesting mechanic. A little bit of take that type of thing. So I played it twice. I didn't do very good either time, but it was fun. It was a fun game. So artwork's kind of dull on it, but the gameplay was really fun. So it wouldn't be a game that I would normally pick to play, or buy, but it was fun. I'm glad somebody bought it and brought it over because it was fun. You want to do the next one?
Sure. Next one is Tiny Towns by AEG. It is AEG, yes. And that is, I don't even know
You're
how.
building a tiny, you're an animal. It's anamorphous. Is that what the word is?
Changing into an animal?
Well, you're the mayor of a town that's populated by animals, and you're building little chunks.
Yep. So you're building on your card little different buildings for the town, and you're collecting little resource cubes to build those. And each player takes a turn choosing the cubes, and everybody else has to take that. So sometimes you get what you want, sometimes you don't, but you just build up your square mat, and then
Until you can't build anymore.
until you can't build anymore. Plays up to 6, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's right. So the next game we played, I don't even know if this was like the game we played next order or whatever, but the next one on our list is Dead Last by Smirk and Dagger Games. We've talked about this one plenty of times. It's kind of a last person standing, share, steal, grab and go sort of game. So Dead Last, great for lots of people. So
Doomlings by Doomlings.
yeah.
I
I have
think
no idea who
it's-
published this one.
I think it's self-published. That's what we could find. It's a card game, and you're an amoeba building up through civilization, and you're playing different cards, collecting different cards, and end of the 3 or different seasons set of catastrophes, the world ends, and whoever has the most points wins. Different cards will give you different points, and
The flavor text on all these cards is one of the best parts of it.
yeah, that's cute.
So make sure you read the cards. The next game that we played was Tapestry. This game is all over the place.
That's always your top
Yeah,
favorite.
and I
one
love
of your
the-
favorites.
I love to play Tapestry. I'd love to talk about it all day long, so I better not get started. But Tapestry by Stonemaier Games. Great inserts, great production. So let's just go on to the next one.
Next one is Tokaido by Fun Forge Games, and that in that game you are a missionary on a pilgrimage through.
You're a missionary on a pilgrim.
Going through Japan on vacation, your pilgrimage, and your goal is to stop at different restaurants, make friends along the way, pay homage to the shrine, and
Paint pictures.
paint pictures, and eat good food, and all of those earn your points, and the most points wins.
Yeah, that one's kind of cool because it's kind of based on like a actual event that I think still happens, maybe. But yeah, so then excuse me, the next game we played was Trivial Pursuit, and we played the family edition. So there was the kids cards and the adult cards. But it's Trivial Pursuit. You go around the thing collecting tokens, answering questions. First person to get them all and answer the question that everybody picks wins. So Trivial Pursuit by Hasbro. I just did a commercial for that one. Anyway.
Next game is Uno, Harry Potter edition, and it's basic Uno with a Harry Potter theme. The different cards have a little different mechanics. It's got all the Harry Potter characters on it. I think one of them, the draw for, is if you show a Weasley or a Hogwarts or
Oh, it adds the sorting hat, and you have to
Yeah.
come up with one of the Gryffindor kids card.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't think of this right now.
So, but yeah, otherwise it's Uno for the most part. So, the next one we played, or on our list that we played, was Unearthed by Brother Wise. Mouth, brain, work. By Brother Wise Games. Just a fun, simple game. Bunch of cards. You have a bunch of dice that represent your explorers. You roll them. You pick which card you're going to put them on. When there's a breaking point on that to see who controls it. Whoever has the highest number die on that thing collects it. Most points wins at the end of the game. It's kind of a creative theme, and the dice mechanic is kind of cool, kind of random. There's other ways to score points than just the cards because you're collecting cubes as well. So each number on the die has a specific, not a specific thing, but something that it'll allow you to do. So it's not just like I got to roll high or bust. So yeah, Unearthed by Brotherwise Games.
Next game on our list is Villainous, and this is a family favorite. We've played it for a while. We've got all of the expansions, I think 18 characters in all. And you take the role of a Disney villain and basically try to thwart your heroes and fate other villains. So make their heroes come out and fight them. And
that's a Ravensburger game, so that one's actually pretty easy to find. So, and again, it plays up to 5, 6. If you go, but 4 is kind of the sweet spot. Maybe 5. So don't play with less. Don't play with more.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
The next game is Victorian Mastermind. Everybody takes on a villainous mastermind. And you're kind of building. It's an engine building game. You're building up a little contraption that you've come up with, and you're collecting different pieces to do this. You're also stealing buildings, kind of a little bit of a Despicable Me sort of Gru-esque thing, but you don't become the actual good guy. You just stay kind of the bad guy.
Not an inventor.
Not an inventor. Definitely not an inventor. And that's by Simon Games. But this one I'd seen it, and then we played it up at our friendly local game store, and then we just had to have it. It was just, the artwork's kind of fun, and the mechanics are pretty cool in the game. So we've played it quite a few times since. So
we couldn't find it for a while.
Yeah.
And then when we finally saw it in stores, we were like, oh, we have to get this one. We need it.
So yeah, Victorian Masterminds by Simon Games.
And next up is Viticulture Worlds by Stonemaier Games. And this is a cooperative version of the winemaking game Viticulture. And it plays not the same as Viticulture, but there's a cooperative element where you're building wineries or trying to enhance the wine culture image through in the world of viticulture.
Yeah, it's kind of scenario based, so you kind of choose which area of the world you want to play in, and then it kind of gives you a base of starting, but the winning is always the same. You have to get your influence up to 10, and everybody has to get to 25 points by the end of the number of rounds that the game plays over. So yeah, it is an interesting take on viticulture. Viticulture itself is a great game. We love playing it. So it's all about making wine. You get the grapes, you harvest the grapes, or you plant the grapes, you harvest the grapes, you crush the grapes, you build the wine, fulfill orders. That's easy peasy.
I do want to point out there's a lot of replayability with Worlds because there's different scenarios with it. So it's not just the same each time.
Right. So one of the next games we played was Viscounts of the West Kingdoms. And that is by Garfield Games. And that is part of the trilogy for West Kingdoms and Paladins. It's a cool worker placement game where is it worker placement? Kind of. You have a Viscount that goes around this kind of circular board, and you complete different tasks to gain points. And the mechanics in this one gets me. I really like this game. You either vie for the castle, you vie for the mission books, or you vie for building different things around the outside of the board. And all these things that you do help you overall in the game. And the card mechanic that you play through is really cool. Like the card gets put on your tableau, works its way down over the next 3 or so turns, and then falls off. And sometimes there's an immediate action you get to take. Sometimes there's a passive thing that you get to action that you get to take during the game. That card is face up on your tableau, and sometimes there's when it falls off. So Viscounts of the West Kingdom, and for some reason this art gets me too. I don't know what it is about this.
I agree. I love the art in those games.
So, but yes, Viscounts of the West Kingdoms. What's next?
Next is Wrath of Ashardalon from Wizards of the Coast. And this is a classic D&D in a box game. Different scenarios that you play through. Players have their characters, and they will follow those characters through the different scenarios. I think there's 14 different ones.
Yeah, 13 or 14. Yeah. And, I mean, you can always replay them. This was definitely Wizards of the Coast's way of trying to get people that maybe played board games interested in, that didn't play tabletop role-playing games, Dungeons & Dragons specifically. Like, hey, here's how you play Dungeons & Dragons in a box. It translates into Dungeons & Dragons. If you like this, try this. So, but yeah, game's got a lot of really cool minis. It's kind of tough. Like it ramps up pretty quick, but
it's a good way to introduce D&D to people who have maybe not played D&D before but are interested. And it takes a lot of the work out of creating a character, rolling for hit points. A lot of that, your character is ready to go.
Yeah, it does kind of get just right into the meat and potatoes. Not a lot of role playing as far as that goes, but oh well. So, but the next game actually is also by Wizards of the Coast, and this game is actually out of print, but I did get the chance to play it, and it's Conquest of Neroth. It's a very Risk-esque Dungeons and Dragons themed game. Everybody's got these different minis that are on the board in specific places, and you are. I guess there's a bunch of different ways to play, but we played the team battle one where we're trying to destroy the other team. And actually, this game ends at a certain point when one team wins more victories than the other team. I think we played the medium game, which was like 20 victories. At 20 victories, the game just kind of ends. So it was super fun, though. There a lot of little dice rolling, a lot of you can still do some exploring on the map. So it was really fun. It looks gorgeous. The board is gorgeous too. So, and the little minis are, while they're the same for each person, they're slightly different based on the faction or the race that you got in the game. So, but yeah, Conquest of Neroth by Wizards of the Coast.
Next up is Eldritch Horror by Fantasy Flights, and
yeah, we've talked about this one.
We've talked about it before. It's a cooperative game.
But we played with 7 people.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we had had that game day.
Oh, dang. I think it was like almost 5 hours. We just had the worst luck. Nobody was rolling worth a darn. And yeah, no, it was great. It was the best time because you can only laugh at all the bad luck we were having. People were just falling left and right. And we'd go pick up all their stuff, and then that person would go down. It was just so much fun. It was so much fun. I love it.
It's always a good game when you can loot the fallen characters of your
yeah
of your friends there. And
I do think we played it the next week too. So I think we've played it a couple times in the past. Well, in June, but both times were pretty rough. But just I can't say enough about Eldritch Horror by Fantasy Flight Games. It's just. You get all the expansions too, and it's just hours of replay. You're an investigator trying to stop the Ancient One in the H.P. Lovecraft mythos lore. Oh man, so good, so good, so good, so good.
It makes you want to read the books.
Yeah, but the books are hard to read. They are. They're hard.
Read through.
I've read 2 of them, and then the one that we started. But anyway, that's a different channel about book reading. So. The next one I didn't actually play, but you played with the girls, so why don't you?
Scarf and Barf.
Yep, Scarf and Barf.
By Steve Jackson Games. And quick little game where you're going to a carnival, and your goal is to eat different foods and then roll the dice when different rides come up and try not to hurl on the rides.
Yeah. Whoever has the most points at the end. The game literally takes 10 minutes.
It plays 3 rounds, but the girls have added snacks, evening meals, pre-snacks, like
they're hobbits.
So yeah,
11sies.
So that makes it a higher scoring game, and they said they play through more of the cards. So
the next game was just classic Skip-Bo by Mattel. Have your pile of cards, building piles 1 to 12. Done. Skippo. Not much to say.
Nope. Next one is Wingspan by Stonemaier Games. And it's an engine building game about bird watching. So you're getting birds and playing them to your tableau. Tableau. Feeding the birds, laying eggs, putting eggs on different birds, and different scoring mechanics to get bonus points each round. Plays over 8 rounds.
Yeah, we're probably ready to get an expansion for this game. We've played it quite a few times. It plays great. I mean, from 2 to 5 players, it plays the same. You know, the more players, the more birds you go through. But
so I'm asking the audience, what Wingspan expansion do you recommend? There's a couple different ones out there. I'd love to hear your input, or if it's just buy all of them, please let me know that too.
The next game that we play, or one of the games, I guess I keep saying that, but is Naya. It's a 2-player game, and it's kind of like a little, it's a collection sort of game. You kind of have to match up next to what the last person played, and you collect these little tokens, and the first person to 4 points?
4 in a row.
4 in a row. That's what it is.
Almost like a Connect 4 or tic-tac-toe type deal.
They win. Yeah, so there's a cool little mechanic on how you have to place your tile to force your other opponent to force or to place other things. So quick, easy. I mean, 20 minutes you can play it, unless you have those people that just stare at the board for 20 minutes. But easy game to play. Like I said, 2-player game. It's pretty fun. It's nice and travel. It comes in like a little tin. So, and that's by Blue Orange. I can't say enough about Blue Orange games. They just have such good, easy to learn games, but can have lots of strategy.
Next up is another Blue Orange game, Snip Snap. It's a dice rolling game where players roll their dice all at once, and you're looking for matches between your dice and other players' dice. And if you find one, you yell Snip Snap, shoo Snip Snap, or whatever the image is on the dice. And it plays really quickly, and the girls beat me all the time because I never see the matches quick enough, and they're eagle eye, so
you gotta watch your hands too, because it's a lot of reaching out. And
yeah, they get me, and I'm just like, well.
So the next game was We Are Dead, and this is a game that we won at a International Tabletop Day thing. But basically, you're just I don't know, never peak games. I think this is their only game they've really done. Maybe one more, but it's in a mall, and you are playing zombies trying to eat the mall shoppers. But sometimes heroes might get thrown in, and you have to defeat these heroes. And usually it's the other players playing the heroes on top of you. And then there's a horde that comes out, and you have to try to beat the horde. So it's fun. Like, we've played it just a couple times, but each time we play it, we go, oh, we could play that a few more times.
I'd get that one back to the table.
Yeah, it's corny, but and the board flips over, and there's a carnival side, which makes it a little bit more linear, but the basic gameplay is still the same. So, We Are Dead by Never Peak. What's next?
Next one is one that we talked about a lot in the past few episodes. World's Fair 1893 by Renegade. So I'm not going to say a whole lot about that, except it's a good game. I've enjoyed playing it a lot. So.
Yeah. So, and then, I'll do the next two. So we also played Zombie Dice and Yahtzee. And in our other video, to finish up our A to Z challenge games, N through Z, we actually played World's Fair, Yahtzee, and Zombie Dice all at the same time. We kind of had our table set up with World's Fair, and then we had 2 other tables set up with, or one more table set up with Yahtzee and why can't I remember? Zombie Dice on it. So, and then you'd play your one turn on one game and just move to the next one. So that was a super fun way to play those last 3 games. Yahtzee by Hasbro and Zombie Dice by Steven Jackson Games. Zombie Dice, you just roll some dice. You're looking for brains. If you get 3 shotgun blasts, you're out. But it's kind of like a Farkle, play on Farkle, or I don't know if there's another name for Farkle, but like Farkle. How many times can you say Farkle?
One
A
more
lot.
Farkle.
So yeah, the Zombie Dice, Yahtzee, and World's Fair, right there. Boom, all together. Boom.
And then last one was a new game that we just bought is Sleeping Gods,
Mm-hmm.
and it is a legacy game, campaign, not a campaign game.
Yeah,
but,
campaign game.
it's by Red Raven Games, which is another favorite of ours, and we haven't played a whole lot of the scenarios, but it's in the same world as Near and Far, Now or Never, Above and Below.
I don't think that's totally right.
No,
It's in the
not
same
in the same
art-
realm.
Art style and the same designer, but yeah, you're actually shipped away to it takes place in the 1920s, and you're on a boat and you get shipped the Manticore, and you get transported to a new world where you have to kind of explore. And really, it's cool because it kind of plays as like a video game. You can kind of just stop and save your game, and then it has a way to restart right where you're at. And so that's what we finally paused, and we're gonna set it up and keep going from where we're at. You keep all your stuff you've gathered, and so like I said, we haven't played too deep into it. We've really barely we haven't even finished any of the getting the totems. You got to gain so many totems before the end of the game, and we don't even know how the game ends quite yet, or even what we're looking for. We're just kind of shot in the dark.
No, yeah, but we wanted to get it to the table because we had just gotten it, and we want to get back to our other games, Gloomhaven and Now or
Right.
Never, that we started before our channel, but
Right.
couldn't resist opening up Sleeping Gods.
Had to play it. There actually is one more. We played the Harry Potter Death Eaters Rising. That's one of the girls' favorite cooperative games to play. And I know we've talked about that one plenty. So it's by OP Games. Little cool gimmickle thing. You're just trying to collect witches and wizards, defeat Death Eaters, and defeat Voldemort ultimately. But otherwise, that's our list. I think I counted 37 games on our list that we played this month. June. So that's our review. Just hey, this is what we played. If you like any of those games, or you've heard of those games, or you'd like to know more about those games, hit us up in the comments, and we'll gladly respond to you the best way we can. If you do have any questions about where to get the games, we first try our friendly local game store. After that, anywhere you can try to find them, any online service or whatever, but definitely try brick and mortar store first, preferably. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for sure, so you don't miss any of the crazy, wacky facial expressions, me coughing through the whole time. I know that's super fun. And also, the notification button actually helps you do that. The like and subscribe button, I don't even know where I'm at right now. But do all 3-4 of those things, and that'll make sure that you don't miss out on any of the house rules stuff. So I guess that's it from us here at House Rules. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.